right move, Coach?
Yeah,
Spoiler alert, you said this day one.
I thought about this a lot, and I saw a guy talk about it right before training camp, and I felt like he had a lot of good things to say. I don't know if he's available or not.
Looked a lot like you, too.
Can we play it? Do we have a clip to
My
play?
feeling with the whole Travis Hunter thing is that he should start on defense, play defense, and then situationally play him on offense. Third down, red zone, 2 minute, then you can control his rest and you can control him in the most high-impact situations.
All right, dude, brush him off, Coach.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
My answer was better.
Go ahead, KW. So I'm wondering if this is like glass half full. Like, yeah, okay, great, you were right. Glass half empty. This is a bit of a disaster.
No, it's a
feels like an
catastrophe for my
overdraft.
Jags.
No, I don't think so.
No?
Catastrophe. What if he becomes a all-pro quarterback?
It makes the process of it a catastrophe. You cannot think about when we're talking about. I'll give you a great example. Trading for Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons, or you know what I mean. These great players who either have been traded or could be traded. Nobody goes for what Travis went for. Travis went for the fifth, a future first, and a third. The fifth overall pick, another first-round pick, and a third rounder, or third or fourth round. I don't remember. Like that's
but still, it's a lot.
For a. And I know you don't like when I say this, Coach. I'm basing this purely off the economics of the NFL. Not a marquee position. Like as far as pay, as the pay scale goes, quarterback, pass rusher, wide receiver, tackle.
Right.
Then corner is there with guard as far as what the top of the market makes. That's just process-wise, it's a catastrophe. It is lessened if he becomes an all-pro, but to the point that I'm trying to make here, Trent McDuffie was literally a multi-time all-pro and went for the 29th pick and a few mid-rounders. So
with a big salary.
Yes, with a big salary, that is true.
I think you're looking at it only through the lens of he's only going to play defense. And what I had said before and what I say right now is, yeah, he'll be on defense. That'll be his core position. But if then you use him in the red zone or in 2 minute or on third down and you're getting meaningful plays out of him in that situation, then it makes sense. They've just switched the formula from offense first with a little bit of defense to defense first with offense. And if he's impactful on offense, now you're still getting to the same sort of general formula that they were looking for. It's just structured differently than the way they started out.
Now, okay, let's talk about this because this is something that I've been on, in the beginning of this whole thing. And I've been so passionate and I was just so sick of the conversation about like he could play both sides and I was like, no, he can't. Like, let's stop with this. And then when the season ended and for the Jags, after the playoff loss and all of that, I went on a whole nother rant and I was like I found myself getting like angry about it and, like not on purpose, it's just, sometimes the emotion comes out and I was just like, you know why I'm all worked up now? You know why I'm angry? Because it matters. Because for the Jags, it actually matters now. We're not playing games anymore. Like, this Jags team isn't kind of like, oh, we can have like a fun season and like we can maybe win a playoff game or we can, get into the playoffs. It's like, no, you're trying to win a Super Bowl now. You're trying to win a Super Bowl now. You're trying to become a legitimate, full-functioning, an elite contender in the NFL year after year after year. Okay? Like, that's who you are trying to be right now. A legitimate, for the last, 5, however many years it was, it's the 49ers, it's the Bills, it's the Eagles, it's the Ravens, it's the Chiefs. And it's like the not new generation, but the new, UK. Now, the changing of the guard in the NFL, like the Jags are trying to be like, we got the young coach, we got the young quarterback, like we got the team, we got the squad. So, like anything that detracts from that, anything that is kind of like, well, maybe we do this, maybe we do that. It's like, no, clear-cut, defined, and focused. And that's why it's like that's why I was when I said like my take is better, I'm obviously joking and teasing. But my man, Genie, 'cause I knew when they said like, oh, we're going to do, show man Genie's old clip, I remember him saying, play defense full time or play defense, but then you can have some packages in like 3rd down and 4th down, red zone. And I'm like, no. No. You're trying to build an elite offense, you need everyone on the same page, all in, full time on offense. Okay. Whoever the receivers, whoever the tight ends, whoever your go-to guy is in those moments, that's who I want Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen to be going to, on the same page, in the most important moments of games, not someone who's only there part-time. That's what it comes down to me. That's what it comes down to. Okay. Let's just use a clearly defined team like the Eagles with A.J. Brown, Devonta, Saquon. If Cooper DeJean was also like, hey, he's a guy that, he could do stuff on offense. In those plays, like, I don't want you going to go to A.J. Brown. Go to Devonta. Go to Travis Kelce. Go to the guys that are there. With you 100% of the time, 'cause that's when it matters most. That's when you need your guys there. That's when you need your squad there. That's when you need the guys that you are 100% on the same page that you've been working with throughout the entire game. Not randomly in the 4th quarter with 2 minutes to go, now I'm going to go to Travis Hunter in that. It's like, what? I've thrown 10 targets to whoever. Well, why no, it doesn't make any sense to me. And it makes me angry because the stakes are too high now. If this was just like the Jags of the old, where it's like, yeah, I don't know, let's have a little fun, right? Like, let's see what happens. No, it's not let's see what happens. Let's get to a Super Bowl. Let's actually be elite. Let's actually be special. Let's actually get after it. And I had pushed this so hard. This was before even Travis Hunter was even drafted that he's not going to play both sides of the ball. The gold standard example that everyone always wants to use is Dion, and I went through those stats and I'm like, look, it actually wasn't as great as you think it was, and he wasn't really on both sides of the ball full-time throughout the course of his career putting up amazing numbers. Like, that's not what happened. And, I was very strong on that. And so, this is awesome news. Report, Travis Hunter to be full-time corner for Jags. Fantastic. Awesome. Low. It. You're sticking with a path, you're being defined in it, and that is the direction you're going in. I love it. Stick with that. I'm not going to try to get into the whole song and dance of like, well, should it be offense? Should it be defense? I don't know. That's why I said, you trust the people that are evaluating it. You trust Liam Cohen to be like, you know what? You're more important on defense than offense. Or you're more important as a corner than a wide receiver for us. Like, you have to just trust that process. They're the ones that are at practices. They're the ones that are, piling over all the film and whatnot. Also, Travis, asking, what would you prefer? What do you feel that you have? And that's where you also have to have real honest discussions and he has to be honest. Like, what do you feel most locked in on? What do you feel more free? What position? Don't be like, oh, I feel free no matter what. It's like, no. You obviously are more comfortable and feel more free, more instinctual, in different aspects of games. Like, which is it? Not don't just give me the generic I can do it all. Like, we got to have an honest discussion here, right? How do we make sure that we make you truly the best version of yourself and maximize that to literally the highest level possible? And and then you got to figure that out. And so, that is what they're doing. So, like, don't mess around with third do. WNS and 4th downs and red zones. Like, I don't care about just enough of that. Enough of that. If he was truly this like physical monster of a player where you're just like his body type is so insane, right? Like the tight end from the Steelers, I forget his name right now, right? Like, where you're just looking at someone where you're like, okay, this guy's body type is so bizarre that we can utilize it in the right, like then I could understand cause then it's just like a body where you're like, that's not Travis Hunter's situation. He's an elite athlete, obviously, who was able to do both. And it's just like, well, that time has ended right now. Now it's time to be an elite defensive player, an elite corner. Now, for the whole disaster of the draft, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I think, we just love to have things where like, this is a disaster. We just always got to have like the biggest, boldest, grandest language that we could possibly use. It's certainly not ideal, right, to give up that amount of draft capital and do what you did for Travis Hunter. I get that. But at the end of the day, if he ends up being an elite defensive player and ends up being a legit, foundational component of this team, then it doesn't matter. Did you overpay him for a little bit? Absolutely, but it doesn't matter. It's already been done and it's a thing in the past. And also, I think the whole idea what Nick is talking about like 5th round or excuse me, like 5th overall pick in this right. I'm pretty sure the Jags they traded up. So it's not like they spent a 5th, a 5th overall pick, which was always okay to do. Like, it's not like a situation. I guess what I'm trying to say is because they went over about Trent McDuffie and saying at 29th and this and that. He was a player that you're going to draft that high up. So, it's not like they gave up like a 5th overall pick or something. Like they drafted him right where they would have wanted to if they were even in that spot cause I think they traded with the Cleveland Browns if right I'm pretty sure right. And so all they did was trade up and their 1st and their 3rd I think is how that all went down. And so it's just like I think the way how it's being phrased it just seems a little bit more misleading to me. It's really like you drafted him whether it was the 1st overall, 2nd overall, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Like it was your 1st or your first pick in the draft that year in 2025, 2024, 2025 right? Last year. Right? Last year. I'm all over the place right now. I was on such a great run and now I'm like, oh man I've gotten derailed somehow. You're in the 1st round. So, you use that pick. That's totally fair game to use and it's not like you wouldn't have used it on Travis Hunter at the time whether he was at just one position. Or not. Right? Like that's totally fair. So, what you really gave up was an additional 1st round and that 3rd. That was the price. I don't see you using your 1st pick in the draft in the 1st round as a price because it's just like, well that's just how it works right? That's just like that is the money that you're spending on a player in that moment of time. Right? Like I think that price is when you have to get someone in free agency because you're not actually physically using that draft pick and now you are giving 2 first and you're paying the player $150 million or something. That's when that's relevant. But when you're kind of trading within the draft I think we have to be a little bit more precise about what we're saying here because then any pick in the draft any 1st round pick in the draft is like, you spent a 10th pick on him and it's like, well yeah that was our pick and that's who we drafted like and let's not act like that's crazy. If it was like a kicker or something then I could be like, alright but like literally in the 1st round 1 through there's no if there was like a maybe like a set rule. Right? This would make a little bit more sense if there was a set rule that within the first 5 picks of the first 10 picks you never pick a corner. You never in the first 10 everyone knows it has to be offensive tackle, quarterback, wide receiver, nothing else. But because Travis Hunt could do 2 things you're like, well we could break that rule now. Then sure. But that's not the situation. So, I hopefully that made sense. I know I fumbled a little bit earlier but I scooped it back up and I think I got into the end zone. So yeah, I don't think it's a disaster. Is it a bit of an overpay? Sure. But I like that they're not playing this game anymore. They're focused. They're doing what they need to do and don't leave the door open. Like I don't think that ultimately goes anywhere productive at the end of the day. At the end of the day in terms of like, well we could still utilize him on third down. I just think like at that point what about the actual wide receiver 2 and the wide receiver 3? Go to them. You need to trust them in moments cause you know what sometimes it's not third down or fourth down or in the red zone. Sometimes you need that wide receiver 2, 3, tight end 2, whatever it may be. You need him in the second quarter on first down, on second down. You need him at random. Build that up. Build that rapport up. Get that offense locked in as a unit and not be like, well we can invite Travis every once in a while. It just does not make sense to me. It really doesn't. And you know what? I promise you this. Players also resent that a bit. I promise you. No matter how much they love Travis. No matter how much they buy into the culture. They're kind. Of like, well let him play defense. Like let him play let me get me. Let put me in a position. I want to compete. I want to be there. You know. And that's different than being like, well you know it goes to the best player. It's kind of like, I'm putting in the work. I'm doing it. I'm good enough. Don't take reps away from me. Don't take moments away from me. Like and I promise you that it's actually kind of like, yeah I get it. You can kind of do both but like we're good here. You're not better than me full-time part-time. You're just not. And I just doesn't make sense to me. So, I like this move. I think it's smart. Don't get wrapped up into this is a disaster. Oh what they gave up in this or that. Was it the most ideal situation? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Is it a disaster? Absolutely not. Those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. We've been doing a ton of Jags conversations right now. Show me the channel where they're talking about Jags this much that's not a dedicated Jags channel. Go show me it. I'd love to see it. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Jacksonville Jaguars and Travis Hunter, and kind of this whole conversation that's unfolding, you know about him now becoming a full-time corner and kind of how they had to acquire him and is it right and do you still agree with Mangini that it should still be kind of like some of these packages and whatnot? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment. So, you agree with me or disagree with me? Either way let's get into some discussions. Let's get into some fights. But ultimately let's just have some fun. Please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be a part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.